The Untold Story of Madonna's Six Children, a Legacy Beyond the Stage. She's the Queen of Pop, a master of reinvention who turned controversy into currency. But away from stadium lights and couture, there is a quieter, more complicated story. Six children growing up in the gravitational pull of a woman the world can't stop watching. Some share her DNA, others share her destiny. Together they form a family stitched from loss, grit, faith, and fierce love, the kind Madonna had to figure out without a map. Today, we open the door to the lives behind the legend. From Bay City to the world, how a star became a mother. Madonna Louise Ciccone was born on August 16, 1958, in Bay City, Michigan. The third of six children in a devout Catholic household, she grew up in nearby Rochester Hills in what looked like an ordinary Midwest family, but her life changed forever at just 5 years old when her mother, also named Madonna, died of breast cancer. That loss carved a permanent mark on her childhood. Teachers remembered a bright, disciplined girl who threw herself into studies, dance, and performance as though activity itself could fill the void of her mother's absence. Her father remarried, a decision young Madonna resented, and her independence hardened. She was intelligent, driven, and even then unafraid of rules. By high school, she excelled as both an honors student and a cheerleader, while also training seriously in ballet. A scholarship to the University of Michigan introduced her to Christopher Flynn, a ballet teacher who became her mentor. Flynn recognized her raw ambition and told her that if she wanted to be great, she needed to leave Michigan. At 19, Madonna boarded a plane for New York City with just $35 and sheer determination. The city was dangerous and dirty in the late 1970s, but she embraced it. She worked at Dunkin' Donuts, posed as a nude art model, and waited tables to survive. By night, she immersed herself in dance rehearsals and the pulsating club scene, experimenting with sounds that fused punk grit and disco energy. By 1982, she was recording demos, and her single Everybody earned her a foothold in New York clubs. Within 2 years, she was dominating MTV with Like a Virgin in a wedding dress and turning Material Girl into an anthem. The late 80s cemented her reputation with Like a Prayer and Vogue, each reinvention more daring than the last. The 1990s brought new chapters. Her film Evita proved she was more than a pop provocateur, winning her a Golden Globe. Ray of Light in 1998 redefined her artistry, marrying electronic sounds with spiritual depth. Through it all, she was controversial, unapologetic, and unstoppable. Lourdes Leon, the firstborn, biological. On October 14, 1996, Madonna gave birth to her first child, Lourdes Maria Ciccone Leon, known to family and friends as Lola. Her father, Carlos Leon, a Cuban-born actor and trainer, remained present in her life even after he and Madonna parted ways. Lourdes's arrival signaled a new chapter for Madonna, one that showed the world her softer side, not just the provocateur, but the mother. From the moment she was born, Lourdes was thrust into a media storm. Paparazzi trailed her every outing, eager to capture glimpses of Madonna's baby. Growing up, the comparisons never stopped. Her face, her attitude, her style constantly measured against her mother's. But behind closed doors, Madonna was determined to raise her daughter with structure. Lourdes wasn't spoiled, she was challenged. Madonna banned TV in the house, limited junk food, and enforced discipline in both academics and the arts. She was tough but fair, Lourdes has said, later admitting those rules gave her independence. That independence became Lourdes's hallmark. She studied at New York's LaGuardia High School of Music and Art and Performing Arts, followed by the University of Michigan, the same school her mother once attended. Later, she enrolled at Parsons School of Design, where she honed her creative eye. Fashion became her first love. At 13, she co-launched Material Girl, a fashion line with her mother, but as she grew older, she branched out on her own. Modeling came next. Lourdes worked with Marc Jacobs, Mugler, and appeared in Vogue. Her campaigns were daring, often echoing Madonna's rebellious spirit, but with her own twist. In 2022, she launched her music career under the name Lola Hall. Her sound, electronic, moody, experimental, stood apart from pop's mainstream, further proving she wasn't interested in coasting on her mother's fame. Still, life as Madonna's daughter wasn't easy. People think I'm this rich girl who had everything handed to me, but that's not how I was raised, she explained. She prides herself on paying her own way, refusing to rely on her mother's fortune. Today, Lourdes continues to explore fashion, dance, and music, not as Madonna's echo, but as her own voice. She is proof that strict love can raise not just a child, but a woman unafraid to reinvent herself. Rocco Ritchie, the second child, biological. On August 11, 2000, Madonna and British filmmaker Guy Ritchie welcomed Rocco John Ritchie. London became the family's second stage: school uniforms, park strolls, and a domestic rhythm that surprised the tabloids. But when the marriage ended in 2008, the story turned harder. A custody battle spilled into headlines, and by his teens, Rocco bristled at the structure that defined his childhood. In 2016, he stayed in London with his father, creating a public rift that felt painfully private. What happens when the son of two icons rejects both scripts? He paints a new one. Rocco studied art, working under the pseudonym Red, and slipped into galleries where his surname mattered less than his canvases. Influences, Lucian Freud, Francis Bacon, Basquiat, echoed through thick brushwork and bruised color fields. Critics argued about merit, as critics do, but the work kept coming, stranger and stronger, suggesting an artist more interested in process than applause. Reconciliation with Madonna didn't arrive as a headline so much as a long fade-in, family dinners, visits, an earned truce. He didn't step into music, and he didn't chase film sets. Instead, he chose the solitude of the studio, where reputation can't hold a brush. Rocco's rebellion wasn't a rejection of his mother, it was a rebalancing. If Lourdes inherited Madonna's appetite for the stage, Rocco inherited her obsession with craft. Only his audience is a canvas that talks back. And just as that bond steadied, a decision Madonna made far from London would stretch the family across continents and test how far love can travel. David Banda, the third child, adopted. In 2006, Madonna met a 13-month-old boy in Malawi, David Banda. His mother had died in childbirth. His father, living in poverty, placed him in an orphanage to survive. Madonna felt the spark that changes lives and began the adoption, a process that triggered global debate. Critics argued about law, power, and culture. Madonna answered with stubborn transparency. She was there to be a mother, not a savior. David thrived. He trained at Benfica's academy in Portugal, sprinting down a European dream with the determination of a kid who'd already outrun the improbable. But his talent wasn't a single channel. David loved music, fashion, performance. He'd stride into events wearing outfits that felt like winks to the Vogue era, bold silhouettes, playful defiance, then lace up for practice the next morning. It wasn't imitation, it was genetic, the confidence to wear whatever future fit. Madonna has called him one of her greatest teachers. There's a reason. David embodies fearlessness without cynicism. He competes hard and celebrates harder. The controversy of his adoption faded into the background as his personality filled the frame: kind, restless, inventive. If Lourdes is the artist and Rocco the painter, David is the showman-athlete hybrid. Equal parts locker room and backstage, all velocity. But the story didn't end with one adoption. It widened. A girl in Malawi would soon add a new heartbeat to the family and put Madonna's philanthropy on a permanent map. Mercy James, the fourth child, adopted. In 2009, after a contested process and initial legal setbacks, Madonna adopted Chifundo Mercy James. Like David, she lost her mother shortly after birth. Like David, she was raised in an orphanage until fate knocked. If David is kinetic energy, Mercy is quiet voltage. Less public, more interior, with a pianist's patience. Videos showed a child leaning into Chopin and Beethoven with careful hands and surprising depth. Mercy's gift wasn't just technical, it was interpretive. She could make a phrase feel like a memory you'd forgotten to grieve. Madonna, who has spent a lifetime crafting spectacle, understood the power of restraint and nourished it. Then, in 2017, Madonna opened the Mercy James Institute for Pediatric Surgery and Intensive Care in Blantyre.
There was a time when there was no intensive care unit for children, period. So it means a lot to me that we've been functioning and functioning well. And we have become a model for innovative, medical procedures, not only in Malawi, but also in the world. We're performing surgeries here that aren't done anywhere.
The first children's hospital of its kind in Malawi. The name was personal and political, a love letter to her daughter and a promise to thousands of children who would never appear on magazine covers. Mercy's story thus lives in two keys. One, an adolescent practicing scales in a quiet room. The other, a hospital buzzing with the work of keeping tiny hearts beating. Mercy avoids the glare more than her siblings do. She shows up, shines, and slips away, as if to remind us that not all power needs a spotlight. Her presence in Madonna's family reveals something essential. Motherhood for Madonna isn't a line item on a resume. It's an infrastructure project built to last. And still, the house wasn't full. In a turn that surprised even longtime fans, the next chapter arrived as a pair, Stella and Estera, the fifth and sixth children, adopted twin sisters. In 2017, Madonna returned to Malawi and adopted twin sisters, Stella and Esther, then 4 years old. Overnight, the family expanded not by one story, but by a duet. Two voices that giggle in harmony and argue in stereo. The twins brought a kind of joy that feels cinematic. Living room dance battles, kitchen sing-alongs, matching outfits that quickly diverge as personalities bloom. Stella reads as the extrovert, front row, hand up, ready to perform even when nobody asked. Esther often plays the cool counterpoint, observant, sly, perfectly timed with a one-liner that lands. They are not carbon copies, they are call and response. And in a house that runs on work ethic and ritual, they are also the reminder that childhood is allowed to be loud. Madonna, now parenting across 4 different childhoods and a full spectrum of temperaments, doubled down on structure, lessons, rehearsals, responsibilities. But she also let the twins be exactly what they are, kids. When the world tried to debate whether international adoption was political, the twins answered in the universal language of laughter. If David showed what opportunity can do for talent, Stella and Esther showed what love can do for possibility. They are moving toward their teens now, a time when the road begins to fork. Interests sharpen, identities harden. Whatever they choose, dance, music, science, something none of us see coming, they'll do it, knowing their origin story isn't a limitation. It's a launch pad, the thread that ties them all. 6 children, 6 trajectories. Luardis refuses the shortcut and builds her own lane in fashion, dance, and performance. Rocco turns conflict into canvas and finds quiet in the studio. David blends sport and stage, thriving on momentum. Mercy makes music speak and lends her name to a hospital that will outlive us all. Stella and Esther transform a household into a chorus, proof that joy is serious work. What do they reveal about Madonna? That the girl who lost her mother at 5 spent a lifetime inventing safety for herself and then for 6 more. That discipline and tenderness can coexist. That philanthropy is most powerful when it's personal. And that reinvention, when you're a parent, isn't a costume change. It's breakfast at 7, rehearsal at 4, homework at 8, boundaries at 9, repeat. There were missteps. There was public pain, there were courtrooms and comment sections, and nights when even a global icon felt helpless. But there was also repair. One of the quiet truths of this family is that apologies and second chances are part of the ritual. If fame is a spotlight, motherhood is a mirror, and mirrors don't lie. Madonna has stood in front of that mirror for 4 decades on stage. Off stage, she learned to share it. She once said, "The most important thing I've ever done is raise my children." Coming from a woman who rewired pop culture, those words are less a quote than a thesis. The hits will keep streaming, the outfits will keep being imitated. But the real legacy isn't a tour box set. It's 6 lives with the courage to choose their own tempos. And that's the untold story. The queen of pop became the queen of a kitchen table, where schedules are made, feelings are negotiated, and love is practiced daily. If you listened closely to the albums, you could hear it coming, a heartbeat under the bass line, a lullaby beneath the hook. If this journey moved you, stick around. There are more families with myths to unspool and truths to discover. Whose untold story should we open next? Reply below.